were we? Priorities, knowledge, sources, evidence, Islamic science. Okay, we were going through the overview of the sciences, right? So we looked at the Quranic sciences. Now let's move into the sciences of the Sunnah. Okay, sciences of the Sunnah. Now it's Sunnah a little bit narrower, not including the Quran. Okay, so what are the sciences of the Sunnah? Ulum al-sunnah. This Hujjiyat al-sunnah. Hujjiyat al-sunnah means why is Sunnah important? Importance and significance of Sunnah. Why is it important? Like, can I just believe in the Quran and I'll be fine? I'll be a good Muslim? Or is Sunnah important too? Why is it important? I can say all day long, standing on and give 5,000 khutbahs and say Sunnah is important, follow the Sunnah. Why? Right? How? What are the evidences? Where does it come from? Okay? Hujjiyat al-sunnah. Okay, we're going to touch on this inshallah. Seerah, you have to understand Seerah, that's ilm al-sunnah. Okay, it's part of the ulum al-seerah. Okay, and Seerah has its details too. What are the sources of the Seerah? Where did it come from? Is it authentic? Is it not authentic? How much of it is made up? For example, you must have heard in your Sunday school level Seerah, all of us did, that remember that one lady who used to throw trash on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Jewish lady? Okay, fabricated, doesn't exist, made up. Jews didn't used to live in Medina next to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam walking. Jews were living in their tribes, and they weren't just around. It's a completely made up story that just became popular. Yeah. I want to blow your mind, so I'm blowing your mind, okay? You can't attribute something to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he never said it. It's haram. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man kadaba alayya muta'ammidan falyatabawwa'u maq'adahu min an-nar." That whoever attributes a lie to me, it'd be a good statement, but it's still a lie. Let him find a seat in hellfire. You can't do that.
There's not a...
You can't say Qala Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. You can't say that until you're absolutely sure that is an authentic hadith. Authentic, highly Qala Rasulullah. People throw it around all the time. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. I know my sources. When I say that, inshallah, I will use that term very, very carefully. You can't say Qala Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. You can't, unless you know for sure where you got it from. Yeah? No Facebook hadith forwards. You know, all of the very, very nice on Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp, and you'll find people sending you all of these, Imam Ali said this. Look how beautiful. Look, Imam Ali, it's really, really famous because it's really beautiful statements. Actually, that comes from the books of Shia Hadith, and then we'll talk about that as well. How authentic they are or not? No, not authentic. Not Imam Ali didn't say that. Okay, making sense? I'm sorry, I got into the world of Seerah. Okay, we'll talk about that inshallah. Okay, Sanad. What is the chain of narration? Understanding the science of Sanad. Oh my God. You want to have your mind just absolutely blown. Just ilm al-sanad and isnad is just enough to have your brain just spin for decades. Ilm al-riwaya. How do we understand the transmission of knowledge that comes to us through hadith and what have you? What are the sources? Ilm al-riwaya. Ilm al-diraya. How do we understand what we got? Remember the source and its meaning. Definitive, probable. And then diraya is also used for how, unfortunately in our world, because we all have taken Sunday school level Islamic classes, we have this imagination of Rasulullah ﷺ and how he used to be perfect human being. You know, for example, there are sects out there like Barelvis. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying they elevate Rasulullah ﷺ to a very, 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 very high station, right? They call him Hadir Nadir. He's present and he is seen. Shias, for example, for all of the A'imma, for all of the Imams of the Shia Imams, whether they're the Fivers or the Seveners or the Twelvers, the Ithna Ashari and what have you, they believe in the infallibility of the Imams. They believe that they have, they can see the unseen and they have knowledge. Everybody assumes that Rasulullah ﷺ had all knowledge. He knew everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him everything. He could foretell the future. For everything. Yes, certain things, absolutely. Everything? Then how do you draw the line between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His creation? What are you doing? Very dangerous stuff. Very, very, very dangerous stuff. Extremely bad stuff. Okay?
Is المغالاة مكروهة أو مرفوضة؟
مغالاة means what?
مغالاة.
To exaggerate.
Exaggeration.
Yeah.
هذه مغالاة. This is.
Why would it be mafruḍa? No.
I mean.
Rejected. Yes. Correct.
It is rejected. Correct.
Yes. Diraya. For example, Rasulullah ﷺ had so many wives because, again, I told you this is not a feel-good class. Okay, I'm gonna just help you understand. Rasulullah ﷺ had so many wives because he wanted to form political alliances, and that he was taking care of the divorced women and what have you as a charity, and he wanted to spread the deen to the women and stuff like that. These are all wisdoms derived. Is that recorded anywhere? Did he say that? No. Why did he have so many wives? He was a human being. Okay. Rasulullah ﷺ was a human being. Prophets are given special allowances that regular people don't have. Okay. Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Ana basharun mithlukum yuha ilay." I am a human being like you. I have been given revelation. That's his responsibility. First and foremost, what did he say? Ana basharun mithlukum. I am a human being like you. Okay. Elevating the station of Rasulullah ﷺ beyond a human being is actually kufr. Okay? You have to understand Rasulullah ﷺ, you have to understand when you read his seerah, he's a human being first and foremost. He has feelings, he gets hurt, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages him throughout the Quran, lifting him up, because he's a human being. He's down, he's depressed, he's worried, and he has desires, like human beings have desires. Okay? He goes to the bathroom. He what do you call, eats food, gets hungry. Right? The human element, you have to keep that in mind when you study. Okay? Inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing can compare to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't compare, don't do shirk. Don't compare things to the station of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. Okay? Okay, sorry, I went into a passionate tangent there. Okay, ilm al-diraya. So what do? We know something. It's like, oh, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would never, ever. No. So just be careful, okay? Next, ilm al-rijal. Like I told you, where are we getting these sources from in the chain of narrations? Who is this person? Where was he born? What did he do? Was he a good person, bad person? Who did he associate with? What is it? Was he a mubtadi' or not? You know, did he do bid'ah? Was he a Shia? Was he a you know whatever? Did he ever lie? How did he treat his animals? Was he mean to his animals? He might have been all good things. You know, who did he meet? Ilm al-rijal. Books and volumes have been written around. About 1,000 people. Just 1,000. How many Sahaba were there at Hajjatul Wada?
114,000.
People, you know, some estimates, some exaggeration maybe there. 100,000 plus. How many people do we actually know of 1,000 or less? Okay? Ilm al-rijal. Okay, we'll talk about that inshallah. Hadith, ilm al-hadith, oh my God. One, if not the most complex science of Sunnah. Okay? Today we'll get a taste of that. Mustalah al-hadith, a classification of hadith. I'm throwing different terms around. What does it mean? You know, how do you categorize the hadith? All of that stuff. The ilm al-jarh wa ta'deel. How do you actually do jarh? How do you criticize a person, a narrator? How do you criticize them? What are some of the criteria? Ta'deel. How do you elevate him? How do you make it credible? How do you say he has adl? He's good. I can listen from him. Like for example, me. Should you be taking knowledge from me or not? I'll let you guys decide. Okay. Should you be taking knowledge from me a little bit, right or not? Am I adil or am I not, right? Are you going to take my word for it or are you going to check it, right? Tadween, ilm tadween, how the era of tadween just means collection, right? So like a diwan, right? To make a diwan, to make a collection. How was hadith collected? Around what range? What were some of the methods and processes and who was involved? Books and canonization of kutub al-sunnah, kutub al-hadithiyah. What are the categorization? What types of books of hadith out there? You know, it's a book of hadith, let me just buy it. No, you gotta know what you're buying. What is it, right? Riyadh al-Salihin, what is its purpose? The Arba'in al-Nawawiyah, what is its purpose? The Nawawi's 40, what is its purpose? Why did he do it? What is Bukhari? How is it different from Abu Dawud? What is Abu Dawud? You know, what is Musnad Imam Ahmad? Why is it called the Musnad? Why is Bukhari called Sahih al-Bukhari? Why? Why is it a Jami'? Is Abu Dawud a Jami'? What is a Jami'? What is Mishkat al-Masabih? You know, you say, oh, this is a hadith from Mishkat. What is Mishkat? Is it a primary source of hadith or a secondary source of hadith? And genres, right? You understand? Blowing your mind already?
Yeah.
Inshallah? Yes. Okay. This is just an overview. This is the most important part. Okay. All right, good. So we did ulum al-Quran and ulum al-sunnah. Okay? Now we are looking at the ulum al-thamarat. Yeah? Ulum al-shari'iyah. Creed, Aqidah. Where do we get Aqidah from? What are the boundaries? What are the red lines? What are the red lines? What do I do with a hadith which says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I felt the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come into my chest and my chest felt cold. It's a hadith, it's an authentic hadith. In Tirmidhi.
Whoa.
Where do we get Aqidah from? Okay, how do we draw the lines and all of that? This is where the knowledge, the qat'i knowledge, becomes extremely important. What is the most important thing? The most important thing in our deen. How we understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Knowledge about Allah. The most important thing, more than fiqh. Whether you know how to pray or not, you have to know you need to understand how to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember the Iman, step number 1, Iman billah, which helps you understand how do we think about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Extremely important, extremely overlooked. Extremely overlooked. Extremely de-emphasized. Extremely controversial too at the same time. Okay? Am I making you sleepy? Okay, you're just tired. Okay, I'm not gonna. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure I'm not boring you, right? Because it's really important to me to not bore you. Everybody's still looking at me, so I have a good feeling you guys are into this, inshallah. Okay. Okay. So there's the ilm al-tawheed, the ilm of tawheed. Oh, we take that word for granted. What does tawheed mean? Where does it come from? Where is its evidences? How do we describe it? How much blood has been shed on ilm al-tawheed only? How many books have been written? People have killed each other on ilm al-tawheed. Okay? Ilm al-kalam. Oh, kalam. Oh my gosh. Philosophy, bid'ah, deviant. What is it? Kalam, cosmological argument. What is kalam? Kalam, cosmological argument. KCA. Never heard of it? Anybody heard of it? No? Yeah. Fascinating stuff. Salafis think the Kalamis are deviant. Kalamis think the Salafis are deviant. Anyways, Asma Sifat. How do we understand the names of and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When Allah says in the Quran, I created Adam with my 2 hands, right? Well, how do we understand that? The Asma and Sifat, okay? How many names does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have? 99 names? No, all of that stuff, right? Qasas al-Anbiya, it's also part of believing in the messengers, their stories, the purpose, why did they come, how many, all this whole science around. So much detail. Oh my God. What is authentic? What is not authentic? What is true about a prophet? What is not true about a prophet? Al-iman wal-kufr. Okay, what describes iman? That you have iman, and what describes, can you call anybody a kafir? When you can call them a kafir? Should you call them a kafir? Should you do takfir? Right? Huge area. A huge area. Qada and qadr. How do you understand the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How do you understand qadr? How do you understand predestination? Oh my God. Oh my God. So many different firaq came out of just qadr. Oh, we're like robots. Jabariya. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides everything. We have zero free will. Qadariya. We have ultimate free will. Why does evil exist in this world? Why are people in some parts of Africa dying? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so mean. Astaghfirullah, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all loving. Why does... have you heard this argument? It puts a lot of questions in the kids' heads nowadays, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all loving. Why is there bad happening? Oh, that means God doesn't exist. Right. That stuff, right? That's all about qada and qadr. It's a huge topic. I'm not an expert. Anyway, inshallah, we'll touch on all these things. Fitra, aql, and naql. We talk about rationality and transmission. When to use this to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and understand the Aqidah. Can we use a rationality in our Aqidah? Some schools say no, you can't. It's naql, it's Aqidah, you have to use naql. Some say no, Allah said use aql. There's so many arguments in the Quran about Tawheed where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying use your brain. So we can use Allah. Yes? Okay, then wujud al-shar, we talk about existence of evil, karamat. Do karamat exist? Okay, Anbiya had mu'jizat, right? They had miracles. Do awliya, do they have karamat or do they not have karamat? Should we believe in it? Should we not believe in it? Okay, sihr. Okay, ilm al-sihr. Magic, black magic. It's a science. There's books written on ilm al-fiqh. Actually, you can Google for them, black magic. You can learn black magic for the benefit of it's your niyyah. Okay. Ruqya. Okay. Exorcism, science behind it, huge science. Al-firq, sects that existed in the 14 centuries of Islam. Why did they exist? What is their history? What is their purpose? What are they saying? What are they not saying? How did they transform and influence even to this day, right now, in this table, in this room? Everything that happened has influenced each and every one of them right now. In a really major way, not in a subtle way. Hugely. Firq, adyan, the knowledge of religions, and just in general, right? And all of that. Okay, so this is creed. Just a surface level. This is just Aqidah. Okay. Then this is basically imaniyat, right? Then it's fiqh, jurisprudence, right? Ilm al-fiqh, Usul al-fiqh. How do you derive law? Where do you derive from? What are the sources of the law? Where do they come from? How do we apply them? What are some of the frameworks? What are some of the methodologies? What do we take? What do we throw away? Do we throw away? Why do the different madhahib exist? What is the difference between Hanafi and Maliki and Shafi'i and Hanbali? Were there more than 4? Yes, there were. How many were there? Why did they exist? Why did they not exist right now? Why are only 4 popular right now? Why did Abu Hanifa think so differently from Imam Malik? Why did Imam Malik think so differently from Imam Shafi'i? Why? Well, just because they had egos? No, not at all. Not at all. Do I have to follow a madhab? Do I not follow a madhab? Can I use my ijtihad on my own? Can I mix and match? Those things. Okay. Maqasid al-shari'iyya. There are the goals and the objectives of the Sharia. It exists for a reason. Allah created a Sharia for a reason. What are those objectives? What are those goals? Who has written about it? How many people agree with them? How many people disagree? There's qawaid al-shari'iyya. When you're deriving laws, are there principles and maxims that we need to abide by? Like, for example, I was saying, reduction of harm. So when you are creating laws, writing a book of law, you're a faqih, okay? You're writing a book of law. Are you making sure that it is aligning with the rest of the principles or not? What are those principles? How many books have been written about those principles? It's a gigantic science. Ilm al-madahib, ilm al-tatawwur. How did fiqh evolve? What kind of arguments were the Sahaba Karam having with each other on what is the right way? Right? Should you go wash your head when your head is injured? Or should you not do ghusl? Right? They were arguing with each other. Like, why are you praying this way? Why are you doing this? It's like, no, Rasulullah said this. No, he said this. Yeah. And then all the way to now, right? The evolution of fiqh, it evolved. Okay? It's not so easy like we just say, my book says this, so I'm gonna go do this. Like the other person says, no, my book says this. Like, should we respect each other or should we disrespect each other? Should we accept the differences or should we be completely intolerant? Should be my way is the highway or no? There's pluralism in Islam, right? You understand? Okay. Then there's 2 kinds of major categories of fiqh. They're fiqh al-ibadah and fiqh al-mu'amalat. Fiqh of worship and fiqh of mu'amalat, dealings, like getting married and taking loans and signing contracts and having a slave. Yes, slavery in Islam. What do we do about slavery in Islam? What do we do? How do we understand it now? So there's two branches of fiqh itself. What are the fiqh books? Who has written about the fiqh books? Are all Malikis the same? Are all Hanafis the same? Are all Shafi'is the same? Hanbalis the same? What is the Salafi people? Where do they come from? No, they're not the same. There's sub-schools within schools. If you say I'm a Hanafi, okay, great. Which Hanafi? Tell me. Which school? What is bid'ah? What is bid'ah? What makes something bid'ah? What doesn't make it bid'ah? Should we do Miladun Nabi or not? Should we celebrate birthdays or not? In general. Is there any harm? Is it bid'ah? Is it not? And all of that stuff. Fun stuff? Jurisprudence? Alhamdulillah? Okay. Spirituality, tazkiyah. Ooh, Sufi. Bad word, good word. All of these crazy Sufi, Darwish, and the dancers, are they on the right path or the wrong path? What is the purpose? What's going on there? What are they trying to do, by the way? Dancing around, spinning around. What are they doing? Why? Just for fun of it? We'll explain, inshallah. Okay? But I have to understand. They're Muslims. They're saying, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's what they're saying. Quran says, don't consider anybody a kafir when somebody says, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The least we should do is try to understand them. And respect, you understand? Are all the Sufis spinning dervishes? What are Sufi tariqas? You have ever heard the term Sufi tariqa? No? Like Shadili or there's a lot of them. That's an area of my weakness. I'm still learning. There's not good stuff out there about it. Anyways, there's a lot of they're called Sufi orders. Okay, so let me show you some. There's some in Pakistan and all of that stuff too. In India, Sufi orders. Yeah, right here, Chishti. Have you heard of Chishti people? That's a Imam Chishti. Yeah, it's a South Indian. You wouldn't know.
No, I never heard of this.
No, I know. You will heard of Shadili.
Yeah.
In Mosul, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will also heard of Safawi.
Safawi.
Yeah. Badawi, Azim, Nasiri. This is some Indian Pakistani ones as well out there, crazy ones that I can't remember which ones. Again, I'm not an expert in here. Extremely Sunday level school knowledge in Sufism. But anyways, that's a part of the science of tazkiyah. It's Sufism. Like, should we just ignore Sufism and just do tazkiyah? Yeah. Okay. So what is the science of tazkiyah? Okay. Should we do azkar, morning, evening? Is there anything? Can I use azkar outside of sunnah or not? Or should I just stick with the sunnah? Can I make up my own azkar? Have people done that? Have they found benefit in it? Has that benefit been rinsed and repeated every single time for generations? Yes. Yes. Is that knowledge qat'i or dhanni? Or there's a chain of narrations for Sufi orders? That's what Sufism is actually at the core. Yes. It's very complicated. They're probably more, are they awliya, do they have karamat and stuff, all of this stuff, right? Turuq and tasawwuf and tazkiyah. What is tazkiyah? What is the science? What are the diseases of the heart? Right? What are the diseases of the limbs? Who has written about them? Who has condensed all this information and given us remedies? What does the Quran say about tazkiyah? 1/3, if not more, of the Quran, 2/3 probably, is talking about tazkiyah. 2/3 of the Quran is talking about tazkiyah. What does the Quran say? We just got a glimpse of it at the very, very beginning of this class, right? Tazkiyah is the most important thing. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. those, remember, beginning with the end in mind, those are the successful ones who have done tazkiyah. What does tazkiyah mean? What does that word have to do with zakat? Why is it called zakat? Because it has the same origins as tazkiyah. Okay, all of that. Okay, then there are sciences to understand. Okay, now we're done with the ulum al-din. Okay, ulum al-shari'iyya. So we had Quran, we had the Sunnah, which are the roots, and then we have the sciences of the fruits, which are fiqh, ulum al-fiqh, ulum astaghfirullah, ulum al-aqa'id, Aqidah, and ulum al-tazkiyah. Okay? Now, in order to understand these rules, we have to have some foundation. Do we know Arabic? If you don't know Arabic, sorry, you cannot have an opinion on the Quran. If you have no idea, if you can't even spell alif ba ta, I mean literally spell, like how's ba spelled? Ba alif with the hamza after. Ba. If you don't know that, do not dare even have an opinion about the Quran. Sorry. You have zero credibility. If you don't know Arabic, don't try to explain a hadith to me. Because have you read Fath al-Bari? Have you read what other shuyukh have wrote? Ulama, huffaz. We talked about shuyukh al-Islam. We talked about Shaykh al-Islam, right? Have you read their shuruh? Their explanations? No. So it's quiet. Keep quiet. Arabic has many components. Okay, here's just a flavor. There's ilm al-nahu, this is grammar. Okay, very complex. Who standardized it? Where did it come from? Was it an Arab guy? By the way, just a quick hint for you. Arabic was codified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Quran. Arabic came from Quran. Yes, Arabic existed before. It wasn't codified. It wasn't consistent. Okay. Quran did it. Okay. Morphology, which is ilm al-sarf. You don't know enough for me to elucidate on that. Inshallah, I'll just share a little bit with you, so you will know if I get an opportunity. Kalam, what is speech? What is not speech? Right? If I just gobbledygook, is that speech? So there's a whole thing about it. Some of the scholars of Arabic actually get ultra sensitive about some of these areas. Okay, so be respectful. Ilm al-ma'ani. Okay, this is all part of balagha. How do you say something eloquently and to say something that touches the heart? Balagha means to reach. Okay, to reach. Balagha means to reach the heart. So there's a whole science of balagha, ilm al-ma'ani, ilm al-bayan, ilm al-badi', and whatnot, ilm al-shi'r. How do we understand the Quran and the Hadith? How do we know the Arabic spoken by the Arabs of that time? How do we learn that? What is the Arabic literature that we go to? Arabic poetry, ancient poetry. Why was, for example, Abu Jahl so surprised to hear? Why were some of the top poets of Arabia, of Mecca, top shair, top poets, blown away when they heard the Quran? They were like, what is this? Why? You wouldn't know that unless you know Arabic poetry written at that time. Because Arabic poetry at that time was like, wow, that's amazing. Like if you've read Ghalib or something like that from South India, southern continent of India and Pakistan. I don't know who's the famous poet in the Arab world. I don't know nowadays, or not the ancient poetry, not the Shah. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, who are the famous poets of the Arab world? they would appreciate it. It's a very, very, very complex science. All of the Arabs sitting over here, you give them ancient Arabic poetry, they would understand. They wouldn't. They smile. Amr al-Qais, famous poet. There's actually a very nice YouTube channel on Arabic poetry. It's very, very fascinating. He translates, a Pakistani guy. He's translating like that's his thing. That's what he does. His thing is Arabic, and his thing is, a specialty is ancient Arabic poetry. Beautiful. There's a whole college of Arabic in, for example, Medina University or in Azhar, and you understand, you could just do Arabic, forget about deen. You could just do Arabic your whole life. There's so much out there. Your whole life. You could just do Arabic, study Arabic. Okay. Anyways, logic. Believe it or not, and some of our sciences of logic have been adopted from Greek logic and Platonic logic, Plato and Aristotle and all of them. They came into the Arab world. Logic. Why is it important? Why do others consider it not important? It's called mantiq. Mantiq. Okay, you must have heard that term in Urdu speaking. Jadu mantiq, right? Logic. It's like being too logical. Why is logic important? Well, Quran is full of logic and rationalism, right? Why do other people say no? It's not important. There's a whole science of mantiq. Okay. Then there's history. To understand our deen, to appreciate pluralism, to reduce extremism, to understand pluralism and circumstantialism and should be historicized or not historicized. If you don't know history of your own deen, you have no foundation to have an opinion. Islamic history, very, very important. Judaic history, Judeo-Christian history, extremely important to understand the Quran. Otherwise, Quran is referencing historical aspects of Jews and Christians, and if you don't know, how are you going to benefit? How are you going to do tafsir? Right? And there's one aspect of fiqh I completely forgot. It just came to mind. Please jot it down, my dear assistant. There's fiqh al-siyasa. So all of the fiqh that we get from the books of fiqh, okay, you can say they're personal fiqh, okay? If I am a politician, and do we need politicians? Absolutely we need politicians, right? How do they decide what is harmful and not harmful to their community and region or the ummah? Ilm al-siyasa. Should we as a Muslim nation, Muslim ummah, should be like the Madani Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Should we not fight back? Because Rasulullah Allah told them, don't fight back in the Makki period. Don't fight back. Nope. Doesn't matter. Sahaba Karam were tortured. Hot iron spikes and combs were used to comb their skin off. And they were told to just shut up. Not fight back. Khabbab ibn Araf, he was burnt by his master. He was a slave. And he was not sick. And they screamed, Mata Nasrullah, when is the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala coming? Why can't we be like that? Why should we be like the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the Madani period? Where, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now fight. Fight for your rights. Which siyasa should we be living in right now? As Muslim ummah right now? Because Ottoman Empire collapsed and the Arabic world is in turmoil and there's Arab Springs happening, and look at the Muslim station right now. What do we do? You know, there's recently a lot of bashing going on for some of the scholars in America. Like, oh, you guys are saying that, for example, why aren't Muslims right now with picketing and doing a protest around abortion rights? Are they, you know, why? The people in England and Britain, they are like, these guys are crazy. These guys are, the scholars over here are teaching bid'ah, and they're not supporting Islam, and they're hurting Islam, and these guys are fanatics. And the scholars of America are saying, like, you guys are crazy. Like, we live in a different world than you. The strength of Islam in England is loads different from the strength of Islam in the US. Okay? Understanding those nuances and things like this, not for, you know, everybody has an opinion nowadays. I hopefully, inshallah, I'm done with the overview of all the sciences. This is just the index. We just looked at the table of contents. You guys enjoy it? Did it humble you? Did it blow your mind? Inshallah?
So much to learn.
So do you know now why people who know, they keep quiet more and speak less? They're so humble. Why they're so pluralistic? The people who are, why are they so accepting of other people and other ideas? Because they realize that there's very little that they know. Or they realize that all of this is valid. Or they realize, I'm going to pick my battles. I'm going to speak when it's speak when something is really, really harmful. If it's not really causing a lot of harm at all, for the general benefit, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to pick my battles.
So who made it worse?
Lack of education, internet.
Internet?
I think so.
Actually.
Well, this is why I'm doing this. Because I feel like this has to be done. This information that I just gave you, right now, that high-level information, unfortunately, you know, a lot of people, it's inaccessible to most people. You watch videos and on YouTube and stuff like that, but you're not able to really understand, why is this person agreeing with this person, why is he calling this person that person, or like, you guys live in the tazkiyah and the mufti ment world, right? Like, he's saying something nice, makes me feel good, okay, that's enough. What am I going to teach my children when my child comes and asks me, it's like, I don't believe in God. This is happening to a lot of people. It's like, my child says, all my friends are LGBTQ plus A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. What do we do? Their kids might do. You know, all of this information is inaccessible. Right now, you have to sign up, right, pay thousands of dollars for, you know, there's like, for this kind of course, people pay like $3,000, $4,000 for a year to do. Like this, what we just studied just now is inaccessible to most people. Most people over here, you guys had no idea when I said Islamic sciences and sacred knowledge, right? Most people didn't know, had no idea. Did you? Did I just blow your mind? Okay. It's inaccessible. The people don't even know what it means yet, let alone wanting to learn it. Why are so many people like, I don't know what they're doing, they're going to talk about this stuff. Many people didn't show up today. That's registered. They didn't. They don't get it. Now you see why it's so important, how important it is to at least have surface level, glossary level, you know, glossary, you know, word definition. At least that level of knowledge. At least. To give people humility, to go ask the right questions, to go at the right people, to judge the right scholarship. What kind of evidence is that scholar giving? Should I be listening to this person or that person? Right? I'm not indoctrinating you. I'm not telling you this is right and this is wrong. I'm just educating, right? To give you discernment and humility and understanding and acceptance and tolerance to ultimately achieve good conduct. Taqwa Allah wa husn al-khuluq. Lunch is here. We're going to have a studying lunch because we don't have time. So let's take 5 minutes to grab a slice of pizza and then come back. Inshallah, we will go down into hopefully you guys are finding benefit. Please make dua for me if you are.
About Dhuhr?
Huh?
Can we do Dhuhr?
Dhuhr will take a long time. Let's do it 3. Okay? Let's do it 3 if that's okay. Because otherwise we're going to be done. This is going to take 30 minutes. So we had a discussion about that. So we made a decision we're going to do Dhuhr at 3.